but
yeah,
it's right, I guess.
I'm probably gonna lose my job doing this, but at least we're doing the right thing.
He can't fire all of High Command, can he?
He can.
Yes,
I mean, he can, but
he's got
will he?
supreme. He's got supreme power. But
What's he
like
gonna
I
do?
said,
Fire every cop?
we are David setting up to Goliath, and we're trying to do the right thing here. And he's gonna challenge everything. So if you try to take him down, if you're gonna swing your dick at the big boss, he's gonna swing just as hard as back. So get ready for that too.
Well, if he truly is what I believe to be a rational person, he'll submit to the handcuffs or detainment. We don't have to handcuff him if he's compliant. And he'll be interviewed about it and either admit to it or plead out. And things can go civilly, potentially.
Yeah. We should probably get Corinne involved, unless y'all don't feel like we can trust him in this matter. But I feel like you should know about this if we're going to proceed forward. The next time we're supposed to meet with the senator was supposed to be on Friday for the ceremony for the medals.
What time is the ceremony?
Not scheduled yet. Obviously, I got to talk to
Because
the
I was looking at
needs to be after
scheduling
funerals.
Yeah, I was trying to schedule the funerals for Friday.
Funerals first.
And then we should do a Sunday then, if that's the case, or maybe a day where
we could do it like hours after, because I was looking at 4 Eastern for the SDSO funerals.
I don't want to take away from the funeral. That's all, because
I understand. Yeah.
Unless you guys are okay with something like that.
I mean, it's war related, I guess. It wouldn't be the worst. I wouldn't want to do it anywhere near it. I'd like to do the funerals and give an hour break at least until that, but we could just do it Monday. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, then we'll push for Monday then, being the ceremony. A lot of people will be given medals for their heroic effort, of course.
And you want to arrest him at the ceremony?
After he's done giving out the medals, probably, yeah.
All right.
What? I mean, listen. I do.
What if we approach this rationally and said, Senator Davis, we suspect you may have committed a crime, and one of us is a witness to it. We're issuing a warrant for your arrest. And just told him to come in and speak with us to handle it versus publicly ambushing him at a ceremony.
I mean, if he shows up before that, absolutely, I'm all for it. I'm just telling you the next time we're supposed to meet. That was
well, I think we should.
Time.
I think if he's going to be the senator either way, after he gets out of jail for 45 months or whatever, we should probably be as civil as possible with him and just say, here's our intent to arrest you. You've broken the law. And if he resists, then we have to do what we got to do. But hopefully he'll come quietly and we don't have to do it publicly.
I'm okay with that. And I'll reach out to him to see when he can show up as soon as possible so we can expedite this conversation. There's also one more thing, the press release that we want to give out to the public. I've, made a statement in there as well in the High Command chat. I know, Dirk, you added your part as well, but most of us are agreeing to not discuss the EMS thing or the false flag and allegation. How do we want to go about that? And this is something that obviously the Public Information Officer department will handle in the future. But for now, what is it we want to say exactly?
All I'm going to say is that if we address the EMS C4 thing in any capacity, we are lighting the city on fire. That's my opinion. I think that there are a lot of people who have a lot of opinions on this situation. A lot of rumors have gone around. And until something happens with the panel, I don't think we should address it publicly. Because anything that we say is going to get completely just blown up.
I agree. I think our statement should be brief, acknowledge that there was a war, acknowledge our results of the war, that we acknowledge the good things that came from it at the very least, and say that hearings are ongoing for other stuff, and then leave it be. I think whether or not individually we agree or disagree with what happens, there's a lot more people out there that are going to be a lot more emotional than we are in this room, and that it's going to be, like Tessa said, an issue.
They'll stop listening as soon as we mention it.
Yeah.
That's going to be all they hear.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
That was an accident. It was like the cell towers went down for a moment. So
So, what should be in this public statement or this press release that's going out to LSBN News, for example? What do you think should be in there?
Well, probably not a whole lot. We should probably keep it concise. People don't have a long attention span. We should. What is it right now? Let's look.
Do we want to address the senator threatening Ursula?
Absolutely not. I think we just keep it to the facts of what we know and what we are unified on right now. If there's a disagreement, then we don't talk about it because we're not in agreement on it, you know. And if the senator thing is still unresolved, like we currently are we're talking about literally arresting him, then we should wait for that to resolve before we comment on it. Just it's an ongoing case is what we should talk about.
Okay. So stick to the facts that we found, a bench that manufactured explosives. Mention what we saw, what happened exactly. Don't bring up what happened with the senator or EMS or the false flag and allegation. Wait till we're done with those.
It's easier to mention what we should mention than we shouldn't. It should just be, correct me if I'm wrong, Stubble or any of the other Dark, Tessa, but I feel like we should just say there was a war initiated by the Senate at this time. PD officers were drafted into the military voluntarily. They deployed on the islands in this amount of numbers. They accomplished these objectives. At the end of the war, this amount of many terrorists were held or captured. This amount of people were killed. This amount of officers were killed. Funerals are being arranged. Sentences are ongoing.
I think actually finding the manufacturing of explosives
bomb making has
is a good
ceased.
thing.
Yeah.
And we're proud to announce that, what was the statement that MCU gave us that was like something like 90% of rockets used in the last 3 months were produced at that site. So also mention that probably.
I have that in the very end is
Can you send it again?
it's in high command chat. Yeah. On August 28th, 2023, the state senator has commenced an invasion of St. Queen Isle. Following conflict and resistance in the Isle, the forces of state senator is look at the bench contain the materials required for and instructions of creation of rocket-propelled grenades, C4, planted and time explosives, and other items. Upon full analysis of the weapons bench, state senator has determined that explosive utilized in criminal activity since July 26, 2023, including more than 20 incidents tied back to this bench. The state senator says conclusively state at this point in time, the St. Queen Isle was primary, if not the only source of explosive in the state senator race for the last 3 months.
Do we have a number for like primarily versus if only? Like, do they
the
give
sheets
us
are up there?
Okay, how much it was?
It should be 90% of probably 20 incidents, I would say, if you look at the sheet.
I worry that if we
I
fail
like
to
the picture.
Sorry.
Sorry, just threw that picture in.
Ay.
I can try to rewrite it if you prefer, but what I would include is
if you want to add more to it, go ahead.
I would include that it's related to the bomb. If it is, I'm assuming it is based on what you said. It's tied to the bombing of the courthouse, the apartments, like everything. We should directly name incidents, like a few of them at least, so people know that isn't just like, hey, these guys are making fucking rockets. These people were bombing the apartments, courthouses, hospitals. So there's a bit more of emphasis on what harm these people did and why we went over there.
Yeah, if you want to add that in there, Owen, try to beef it up to give a better perspective as far as the PD side of things and to have it in better light / presentation, please go ahead. I just kind of wrote with Bundy together something, and then obviously half of it was going to be talking about the allegation with the EMS and what happened with Walter.
I don't think I think a lot of people just want to know why we actually went and goddamn did it. That's what a lot of the talks were before the operation was. We had it was like suddenly out of nowhere, sanguine enemy of the state. 1 day later, negotiation ever with the aircraft carrier. Now it's war. You guys didn't follow our demands. And everyone's like, why is this happening? And then obviously the FIB building, terrible. Everybody just got dismissed, belittled. That was a shit show. And then we started talking, and you had the senator and the announcement and whatnot. It got a little better, but people still, we don't have to give them every single line of probable cause and all the details, the investigation, explain every minute, just knowingly.
I mean, we
Why?
should also
Like,
include.
it helps.
We should also include like who was over there and why we suspect they were over there, right? Like we to my knowledge, we've arrested several different gangs over there. Trying to struggle with the names. I know Terrence Walker, so BBMC. Who else was it over there?
Gulag gang.
Okay.
Kyle Bread.
My phone is on silent.
In any case, the gangs, we can acknowledge like several gangs, some criminal organizations, whatever, came from Los Santos to fight for Sanguine Isle. And
So tired.
I mean, none of us would truly believe they were fighting for freedom or anything, right? Like we all know they were fighting for the bomb makers, the terrorists, right? Like
I mean, that's what I had a
is that
conversation
at least
with
acknowledged
TJ.
in this
Yeah.
room?
Yeah, he acknowledged that as well, that he wanted to keep his favors with Jaeger up as well. That was part of it.
Yeah, I mean,
And now he's a
we
Twitter
should put that in
warrior.
there. We should say that several
Uh-huh.
criminal gangs known for their violence against police officers joins the war on the side of the terrorists for hopefully better connections to the bomb makers. Like, shouldn't we include that? Like, these guys are not freedom fighters going, doing what they think is right. They're trying to get in good with literal bomb makers, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna write this. I'll try.
Yeah,
to
if you can just write it down if you can. I'm just looking at that the incidents that tie back to the bench as well as far as the manufacturer marker.
I feel like if we don't acknowledge, a lot of people are very concerned, PD included, about the things that we did over there on Sanguine. If we don't acknowledge them, then that could cause issues too. And I'm not saying we have to say that we agree or disagree.
I'm not saying we don't acknowledge them. I'm saying we don't acknowledge them yet. We don't even have an agreement on what's going on.
No,
And if we're not united on what's going on, and we don't have a solution, we should not be talking to the public.
I put
I
it
like
in
that.
high
That
command
looks
as
good.
well, so y'all can read it. But that's from the EMS that they just put out like an hour ago.
Report about you.
Oh, shit, it's a little
I gotta-
small. I'll read it on my phone.
Yeah, I
Think
gotta
of it.
And then let's think of the 550 splitting.
Okay, all right.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah, they didn't mention it either. The TLDR is the last paragraph. We're aware of various incidents that conflict with what role the EMS played during those events, and we have been and are still performing internal investigations regarding these incidents. The goal of LS Emergency Services will always be to help the people of San Andreas. We know this may not be the answer for all your questions, however, due to these events still being under investigation, we are unable to disclose all information at this time. Rest assured, the events of that day are not being ignored or disregarded by our department. The safety of our EMS and the privilege of trust the state has in our department and those within our main priority, and it is not something that we will take for granted. Thank you all for your patience and understanding in these confusing times. And then signed it.
I think they basically did what I'm suggesting, which is at least that we acknowledge that we are aware of these incidents and looking into them. And if anyone asks us anything about them, we're saying, yes, we are aware and it's been looked into.
I don't disagree with that at all, actually. That way, it's an ongoing investigation, which it is. Obviously, we're trying to figure out what's going on exactly. And I've been spoken to Walter and Brian, the senator, of course.
I don't have an issue with that. What I was concerned about was how it was worded when it was initially presented, which was that
Yeah.
we took a strong stance on it and everything, and obviously we're not quite as strong in our stances when we're talking to everyone here. So I I think until we get a little bit more unified in what we're actually doing as a solution, I don't think we should go into any specifics.
Yeah, I agree.
But we can acknowledge it.
Well said, Game Warden. I got a message from, or a text message from the chief of police. She's not quitting. She's still going to be the chief of police. She just wanted a minute, and obviously she has her stance when it comes to this whole entire conversation regarding the conflict and the war, and she's not agree with most of it. That's what I've been told. But obviously, we need to come together and trying to find a way to heal the divide between us, so we can get back on track and we can get back to doing the right thing. And that's the most important thing. I mean, if y'all have any questions, anything you want to bring up, any concerns, I'm more than happy to discuss them right here and talk about them so we can fix these problems and address them.
Axel, I would like to. Well, okay. First of all, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, Axel. But Axel, after a conversation the other day on accountability, has volunteered to have his own panel. Is that okay to say so?
I mean, yeah. I mean, ask me anything you want. I mean, I'm not hiding anything. But if you feel like a panel is needed from me, go ahead. But if there's any false narrative, false accusations being made, of course I'm responding back to them.
No, that's fair.
Apologies. Tired. No,
You're okay,
in a good
Chief.
mode. Overreacted.
You're good.
Welcome back.
One of the reasons that there's been some things thrown about yourself, Axel, but I feel like those things the room should be aware of. Do you want to be here when I say these things, or would you rather?
I mean, yeah. If you be talking about me, Dirk, I want to hear them.
Okay. Well, obviously that prison shooting with the shoe has come up today. That could be in question and contention, as we already asked you some questions about it, and clearly it's not an easy cut and dry situation. Also,
You want to charge me with attempted murder, Dirk? Go ahead.
okay. So I did ask if you wanted to be here for this, and if
I mean, that's what you're implying, though, right? What questions you have about me shooting my gun?
whether or not it was excessive force.
Excessive force?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And then there was the Toretti informed me a couple days back that when Johnny Devine, the undercover operative, was initially leaked because of our own faults, that in the presence of Toretti and I think it was Bundy, who was armed with a sniper rifle, Axel and Brian discussed killing Johnny Devine to retain sensitive information, or at least not continue any more leaks.
It was a 5-second joke. We got back to ageist legislation. Everybody was overreacting. That's my perspective.
Okay. Those are, I guess, the main things, really, that I feel could be worthwhile in having a discussion, perhaps during a panel, as to whether those things were good or true, and your defense for those things, and whether or not you should be held accountable for those actions. That's all, and obviously it's voluntary, as you said. So
I mean, we have everybody right here. Who you missing from this panel? We could do them right now if you want. Get me out the way right away.
I mean, how does everybody feel about that? Do we want to take some time to discuss it beforehand and, do an investigation, or?
about this?
What is
Dark?
the accusation? I mean, we're all here.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
going to be a
that's-
week or two until we do this again, I presume. So,
I just stated both of them.
okay.
But what
So
are you
I'm writing the
accusing me
statement
of?
still, unfortunately. So,
Excessive force.
Excessive
Okay.
force for shooting on the rooftop, and then the criminal threats or conspiracy, if you want to paint that picture, for planning to, was it assassinate, kill, murder, snuff out Johnny
We're
Devine.
the joke police now.
okay. Well, I'll
Well,
just say
your
right
argument,
away.
right? That's your
I
side.
don't think Bundy took it as a joke.
Well, I didn't tell anything to Bundy. Bundy did not come over till afterwards when he had a conversation with Brian. I came in when all three were present, and I got an email from the director. And they brought a bunch of ideas. We joked about it. We got back to the most important thing, which was getting him back alive using the ageist legislation. So,
My phone is on silent.
I don't feel comfortable punishing people for. I don't. I mean, I guess I didn't hear. What did you say about Divine? You're going to kill him. You wanted to kill him. You planned to kill him. How severe were the plans? Did you make plans? Did you go and do it? Did you have the gun? Did you have a location? Did you know where he was? So that's the important stuff. Because if it's off the cuff, man, I could kill Divine right now. I've said worse this week. I talk that way about Harvey a lot. It's a joke. If someone heard it wrong, an apology is in order that someone was disturbed, but it's not. It doesn't shock me that in a job such as this that dark humor is around.
I mean, I don't remember the exact details.
Oh
I don't
my
remember
God.
even thinking too much about it. It was something that was kind of brought up in a circle of four people, and then we just moved past it.
I don't
Like
recall. I
the reason
don't
why I bring it
recall.
up, I just don't remember much about it than the fact it was a mere just joke.
Who all heard it, by the way? Said Bundy.
I think I was there, Bundy was there, Brian was there, and Toretti was there.
Okay. From what you said, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, it's a panel, I guess. So this is the rare occasion I can tell you what to do. But I mean, I think clarifying to Bundy and to whoever else was offended by it would probably be a good move. But joking about wanting to hurt someone it's inappropriate, but it's not really all that bad considering. I don't know.
Okay. So why was Bundy equipped with a sniper rifle?
You gotta ask the director that question.
Can I ask
Even though
you
he
that
had a sniper-
question?
I don't remember how he got it.
No. Why did he have it like there?
Why don't you ask the director?
No, I'm asking you.
I showed up afterwards.
So you're saying you're unaware as to why he had a sniper rifle?
I would assume it's for the plan to snipe him.
You said you turned up afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't even in the city when this happened. I showed up afterwards.
So you're saying there was a plan to snipe Divine before you got there?
I mean, I talked to the director, right?
So how could you joke about it when you got... So you're saying that Brian had a plan to kill Divine and then you arrived and then joked about it?
I was woken up to the fact that Divine's been undercover and he's been discovered by the Shelby message. Been told about plans. He's trying to get him back. And I came in there to try to think of a plan to bring him back alive so we can save the operation. That's my truth, Dark. I try to save that man.
Right. Okay. So where were you at this point?
I think it was either the factory. What was that place? The scrapyard.
The scrap, the rust scrapyard, the sandy scrapyard,
Yeah, that's where we all met, the four of us.
the rust one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay. And where was Divine at this point?
We didn't know. That's the problem.
Okay.
We only knew before we got there because Toretti had a conversation with him on the phone, and he confirmed it.
Okay. So when your initial contact with Brian, what was Brian's plan for Divine?
Brian was freaking out. He wanted him back. He was worried that the whole operation is ruined and that Divine's going to get killed by Jaeger.
Okay. So was it Brian that suggested killing Divine?
I'll be honest, I don't remember who it was because this happened a month and a half ago. So as far as remember the details, I don't have that. I just know it was a mere joke that was brought up in a kind of laughing matter. We're trying to figure out what the fuck are we supposed to do when something like this happened. We're so flabbergasted and just dumbfounded that a sergeant sent a text message to Jaeger exposing an undercover operative.
Yeah. I'm struggling to put together the situation here because you're saying that you woke up and then Brian had already got Bundy with a sniper rifle, and in your words, so that they could snipe Divine, and then you got there and then you joked about sniping Divine. That doesn't sound like it was a joking matter.
I mean, it was a joking matter. Did it happen, Dark? Did he get sniped? Was the sniper rifle ever taken out and taken to St. Queen? I don't remember that. We all went on a peaceful mission with diplomacy using the aegis legislation. We want a peace. That's what we want.
No, I understand that, but I think that the point of contention here is whether or not the commissioner and the director considered killing a member of the police department. That's the worry here.
There's no worry as far as that, because I can tell you I would never do something like that. I did my job when I first came in this city, rocked by explosives, people getting attacked. I saw Angel lose her fucking arm from a rocket. And I told myself, we got to go find the source. We got to put a stop to this. And that's what we did. There hasn't been any bombing the past week or so. There hasn't been any explosives or bombs going off. But instead of focusing on the good, what we're trying to accomplish, yes, there's a lot of things that went south. Yes, there's a lot of questionable things that went down. But the fact that we found a weapon bench that manufacture rockets, explosives, that have been killing our police officers and civilians is something is huge, something to be proud of. Something is good, positive that came out of it.
Yeah.
If you don't believe that, no, I wouldn't do the right thing, or I wouldn't have the best interest in the police department, then more than happy to have a conversation one-on-one afterwards if you want. But I can assure you, my job here is to make sure that we move in the right direction. And I'm not immune to consequences. That's why I was open to the panel and for y'all to ask me anything you want. But understand that there's also conflict happening in our streets that is going to affect all of us here pretty soon. And as soon as we can resolve our own problems as fast as possible, we can get back on track to deal with what's out there, what is coming, what is brewing, what's going to transpire here in the coming days.
There's another fight.
Hey, listen, not to interrupt.
Fuck.
I think I've made my position pretty clear on the supposed threat. I don't take it all that seriously. I mean, the presence of the sniper rifle is curious, but we ended up using those on the aisle, so it's not that surprising to me. All in all, I do want to get opinions on the statement I wrote, just so I can look at it and glance at it. You don't have to do that now, but just so you know, it's done at some point before we leave, because it's going to be hard to get us all in the same room again.
He did not just deflect. Oh my god. What am I dealing with? Hey, what am I actually dealing with? Why am I the only? Why is Doc the only one? What is happening? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I mean, our doc. So you could say last year or since April or May. That's where the last kind of information that we have is.
Yeah, I think year is probably just sufficient. There weren't really any bombs before April and May, period. So it kind of captures the whole point, anyways.
It looks good to me. If everybody's good with it, I can.
Well, I don't want to put it out yet. I want like everyone to have a chance to read it fully, and I'm sure I made a couple spelling or grammar mistakes because I just wrote it. So I'll probably edit it, but I want to make sure that like the major beats don't go against what Tessa was saying in regards to like releasing info or whatever.
Oh no, this is not good for Doc. This is not good for Doc. He's just on his own here asking questions.
Any other questions you have for me? Anything you want to bring up?
Anybody? Yeah.
Well, that was about the threat, right? We didn't really talk about the rooftop rumble at the prison.
Right.
I mean, I would explain my side, right? Only shot them is because of my worry that they're gonna knock me off the ledge. I warned them multiple times before opening my gun, saying, "Back off. I'm gonna shoot you if you throw that shoe." And I followed through with my threat.
All right. I'm going to question as someone that ran that place and created the actual catwalk SOPs. Were there any DOC currently inside a general population on the floor?
No, they were all on the catwalk with us.
How many DOC were on duty at that time?
Feasible.
4 or 5 at least.
How many PD were inside the prison?
It was us 3 with the senator.
So a total of 9. How many inmates were inside a gem pop?
18, 20.
Okay. Did any DOC or PD have rubber stick shotguns on them?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. So I think I've mentioned it like briefly a few times today. A year and a half ago, the inmates overthrew DOC, and there was the shivering. I don't know if y'all remember that. There was like 18 shivs in a prison riot. We had to have like 30, 40 PD breach in back when I was DOC. It was a whole thing. And at one point, while tensions were really high after the inmates were going hyper aggressive against the DOC, there was 2 DOC on a catwalk next to the South Box Tower, the one that's in the middle of Gem Pop. And this same inmate kept on throwing a shoe at the DOC to the point that it knocked out one of the DOC. And one of the DOC sergeants got on the megaphone and said, if anyone throws another shoe, they're getting shot. And a shoe was thrown. She got out at M4, sprayed into a crowd of inmates, shot down the inmate that threw the shoe, and also hit a few other people. She was removed from the DOC for excessive force because at the end of the day, yes, a shoe can hurt and it can knock you out, but it's a goddamn shoe. And if you're in a position to get knocked out by getting thrown at because of hyper-aggression from both sides and you're on the catwalk, at what point do you need to look at yourself and say, I probably should have walked away from that catwalk?
Yes,
double. Yes, it's kind of shitty,
yes,
and it's kind of
double.
humiliating
Just gun
to be a
down
government
Kyle
employee
Pred
to
when
do that.
Yeah, you have to understand, though, my position, I was out of position because I didn't expect the senator to gun down Kyle Pred from that distance.
What was the time frame in between Pred getting shot and whoever you shot?
Well, first they were throwing shoes. If you actually read the report, they were throwing shoes prior to that. And then I was walking toward the ledge, not knowing what's going on because I was looking at what's happening. And then I heard gunfire behind me. So I get off that little ledge of the other catwalk because I hear gunfire. I'm freaked out. I thought somebody's trying to gun me down from behind. And that's when they all freak out as well. And they start riding and throwing shoes toward my direction. I tell them to stop just so I want to get off the ledge. He kept throwing the shoe. I shot him. So if you want to call it excessive force, go ahead. I'll call it protecting my life. To me, it was a matter of telling him to back down or me getting thrown to the goddamn yard and getting probably shanked and killed.
I don't know. I kind of want to talk to the DOC that are involved, but I really feel like stand your ground is where we were able to fire that DOC because you could have just walked away. So could the senator. So could you. So could everyone else. And yes, it's humiliating to be government employees and have to essentially give up
the same thing.
the officer presence for the prison.
They could not throw a shoe. Somebody tell them they're gonna shoot them, right? What
Yeah, but
logic
Is
is
there a
that?
justified reason to shoot them?
I just explained my justified reason behind it.
But I don't know if it is justifiable.
That's your opinion. You weren't there.
I've been there.
But there's
I've been on that catwalk
there's
and
not
I've had
many-
shoes thrown at me.
there's not many people that would be more of an expert on the subject, Axel.
Yeah,
I know
fair
you don't.
enough,
I don't know
but-
if you know this, but I worked there for 8 months, 12 to 15 hours every single day. I've gone through
Yeah,
every single
Axel.
situation you could in that prison, and
You had
getting
a senator
shoes thrown
shoot
at you on the
down- you had a-
catwalk.
You had a senator shoot down from behind you like that?
Well, that senator could have walked away, and so could have you. Or you could have told
Yeah,
him to
but-
back off.
That's what I was trying to do, but I was on the edge. I didn't know the shots were coming from the inside, the outside. You have to understand that
Did you
it
shoot
came
the
from
inmate
behind
down?
me.
Were you shooting to kill, or were you like? Because that's the big
No,
thing that
see-
I
see-
used to
see,
do
the
as well. Is
funny-
you wanting
the-
fire.
The funny part is none of my bullets, I think, land. I don't think he went down.
Should just argue you're trying to shoot the shoe out of the air, man. Could have gotten away with it.
Shoot the
I'm
disabled
not-
shoot.
it's not about getting away with it. It's about the truth and what happened in my perspective. I mean, if you think it's excessive force, I disagree. I think
You
in that
th- okay.
position,
Do you think you should, if we're standing in front of a bank for a robbery and a civilian runs by and throws a shoe at us, do we kill him? Do we shoot at
no,
him?
this is different. This is different.
Well, hold
because
on.
look-
It's like a collapsing scenario. So
but
let's say
if
there
you're
were-
trying to use
there
the
were-
use of force matrix,
let's
no,
say there
you
were
shoot.
cars driving by on the road and a car could have hit you if you fell into the road and killed you. Should you shoot him now?
I mean, it really depends on the context as far as what's going on, right? It's not that black or white. In my opinion.
No.
I got to agree with Stubble. If, like I said initially, you could have walked away.
I was trying to walk away, but on the ledge, right? And that's the problem.
Well, there's catwalks. They have railings. I suppose you could have fallen down there and gotten hurt, but
I would have. That was my concern, or else I would have not shot. And I try to give him a warning to back off so I can get off the ledge and get somewhere safe.
My question is, would the person who got shot down, would they have any recourse to file a lawsuit?
in prison legally, I don't think so.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
I think
That's
because they threw something, it's kind of comes down to like, this is what a lot of people have trouble with. It's a procedural issue. I don't think procedurally we should do this, but does it break the law? Is it a civil rights violation? No.
it is a bit problematic if we're sitting here feeling a bit like he overstepped, right?
Mhm.
Would we be able to maybe open that door for them to file a lawsuit?
I mean, they can file a lawsuit all they want.
Well,
I'll have to
our-
fight it in court.
Our punitive action doesn't justify any amount of lawsuits. I mean, we also wouldn't make it public, so they, whatever happens, wouldn't leave this room. If Axel submitted to the panel and the panel agreed that he should be suspended for a day or given strike points, then hopefully, if no one else, we can trust the 6 people in this room to make sure it doesn't leave this room, and whatever happens is private, and it wouldn't open us up to a lawsuit because, first of all, they don't know, and second, I don't think the court should consider punitive action as a measure of evidence anyways.
I mean, go ahead, vote on something. You want me gone? You want me suspended? You want me strike? Go ahead. I'm waiting.
If that's
I
going to
just think
happen,
I think if we saw another cop do this and a deputy, it's the same thing I'm going to say in the Shelby hearing. If it was anybody else, there wouldn't be a panel. You'd have probably a day suspension.
I mean, I'll take a day suspension if you think that's fair. I'll take whatever restrictions you want. I'm not trying to shy away from consequences. I didn't tell you that you shouldn't do this. That's why I happily openly accepted the panel, is because if I'm not willing to take consequence to the top, why else somebody below me should, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all want to decide something, go ahead. I'm
Well,
still waiting.
Like any panel, we should vote then. I would say a day suspension. What would Stubbles? I mean, let's just go around the room. I feel like it's like 3 people talking right now. What do you want done, Stubble?
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm just trying to think
Let's go on to the
back
next.
to,
Dark, what do you want?
you know,
I think it's. I'll be straight. I think it's inappropriate to talk about someone's and discuss someone's punishment when they're stood in the room, especially when they're our boss.
All right,
You're
you
not
can
going
leave
to
the
tell
room
me
then.
afterwards why?
Of course we will. That's what we do.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Listen, okay. When it comes to the excessive force, I think it was absolutely excessive. I think minimum 24-hour suspension is worthy, if not more. I mean, I don't know. I think he put himself in that situation and then opened himself up to get hit with a shoe, and then used that to shoot somebody. I don't think it's the first time we've seen a police officer do something similar. And it doesn't surprise me in this situation, especially when the senator, his boss, had just shot someone who was unarmed. I don't want to speculate, but he certainly might have felt, I don't know, like he should do that, or he could do that, or this is what we're doing now. I don't know. But it's certainly not a path I'd want our commissioner to go down. When it comes to the sniper rifle situation, I mean, I wasn't all that convinced. I will, like you said, jokes happen. But when he brought up the fact that the sniper was already there and the plan had already been discussed about killing Divine,
What was the plan though? Was the plan like we should go do it, or was the plan like, all right, we got the boat, let's go?
I mean, this is the thing. He said that the Bundy was there with the sniper. This is why I did ask, did we want to delay the panel or anything? Because I do want to speak to Bundy about this.
The context is that's Bundy's sniper rifle. That Bundy had that from a prior incident. I don't know why he didn't say that, but that's not like that wasn't requisitioned from the war. The war happened a week after this incident. That was Bundy's sniper rifle he had from home, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Right, but
no one asked him to bring that.
You don't know that.
I think that's the.
I do know that it's Bundy's sniper rifle, yeah.
Right, but
you don't know that no one asked him to bring it.
Yeah, I don't know that part.
We didn't speak with Brian yet.
Yeah.
I did speak to Toretti about this, and from Toretti's point of view, they were serious.
Okay.
So he when he said this to me, there was no mention of them joking about it. Like he might have meant I feel like Toretti would have said, oh, they were joking about killing Divine. No, he just said they were openly talking about killing Divine.
Yeah, but you also acknowledge that there's a rift between Axel and Toretti to the point where Toretti quit. He's not an objective party anymore. He's incredibly biased because he doesn't like Axel, and they disagree on stuff. Now, I'm not saying like Toretti's the type to lie, but Toretti isn't he does like to, exaggerate.
Okay. But yeah, like I was trying to get at, I was kind of in the same vein as you, Owen, where it was like it's probably just a joke, but then Axel was like, Brian was already there with a sniper rifle. He said panicking about Divine, and it was Axel who said that there was a plan already to snipe him, and that was his words, before he got there. So that's why I'm finding it hard to believe that this was a joke.
Okay, well, okay. I mean, I could make this simple, I guess. We need to ask Bundy if someone asked him to bring the sniper rifle or if he just had it. And then we also need to ask Brian if the same question. I mean, because it seems like the presence of a weapon is the most real thing about this. And again, Tess is absolutely right. I don't know why Bundy had the sniper rifle. I don't know. No one asked him. I have no idea. But I'm speculating openly saying, I know that officers who kind of have like a toy like that in their locker love to take it out for any reason. So, I mean, this may be miscategorizing Bundy, but I know that if I'm talking about, hey, we got to go and kill this guy, sometimes someone will take out like an old MP7 or something and be like, don't worry, boss, I got you. So like, is it a joke that like Bundy just took the sniper rifle out because he thought it was a cool like set piece for the joke? Or was someone like, hey, Bundy, do you have a sniper rifle? Can you go get that? We need to kill this guy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an important piece of context towards, is it a joke or not?
I think we need a bit more information on this particular incident.
Well, I can call Brian right now and ask him. I have his phone number. I don't know if he's still awake, but if you want me to, if you're comfortable with that, I could just ask him straight up. Or we could wait for the panel. That just delays the decision on Axel.
Sure, you can phone him. Go ahead.
All right.
And try and get in contact with Bundy.
Yeah, Bundy definitely didn't seem to think it was a joke.
Oh, you spoke to him already?
Yeah, that's how I heard about it.
Okay. I'll see if I can get some clarification.
The warrant for Devon is live, by the way.
He didn't pick up. We'll just have to wait on that. Kind of my thought.
Yeah, neither did Bundy.
Okay. Well, I reckon the best way to deal with this is just to do what we got to do with the situation we know about, and then wait for the Brian and Bundy information to deal with the second one.
Okay.
So I reckon we just make our conclusion with the DOC incident, because it seems like we got the full story more or less on that, and then we can move on to another one later, I guess, and issue both at the same time later on.
Okay, with the firearms thing, a punishment Mueller actually started pushing when he was fucking around with cadets and or officers and deputies is firearm retraining through like the HVTU thing, but for like class 1. That's smart for this kind of situation because we go over like stand your ground and basic use of force is a use of force problem. So we should throw that in, and then also 1 week of Glock duty without the 5.7, and he did this with a 5.7, so it's a big punishment. As well as probably the suspension is, like on top.
So, we're sorry, just is it so a week of lock duty and this is a 1 day suspension for the DOC incident?
And firearm
okay.
retraining.
Okay,
That's
done
what
by
I'm
who?
suggesting.
Like HVTU?
Sure.
Okay. Do you have an instructor in mind, or just whoever you can find?
It could be just anybody.
Okay. All right. I mean, I don't mind. That's basically what I said, more or less. It's fine. Just the Glock duty and the training sounds good.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, that sounds good to me. 24 hours and then that extra bit of training. That sounds good to me.
Libby? Sorry, Tessa.
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. And let's just presume that it was a joke. Are we comfortable discarding it if it is? And if it isn't, what do you want done? Or should we just wait till we cross that bridge?
Yeah, I think we should probably wait until we find out that whole situation before we kind of preemptively say anything.
So do you want to issue the suspension now and the retraining so we can start that? Or do you want to do that all at once when we have gotten information from Brian and Bundy?
Obviously, all at once, considering we kind of need to be a unified high command this week, and there's a lot still to go through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that sound agreeable?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. We could probably just tell them to come back in, I guess, and we could just tell them, we'll just let you know we got to talk to Brian and Bundy. Yes. And I'm sorry for being confrontational earlier, Libby.
Where'd he go?
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Well, you guys have a problem with what I stated?
Yeah, I think we were wrapped up, so thank you.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Because up until now, they haven't had one,
Yeah, I think it's a bit. I think even our own officers could benefit a lot from knowing why we did it and what we got out of it. So the conclusion is we need to talk to Bundy and Brian to determine the severity of your alleged joke. So we'll do that at a later date, hopefully this week, and let you know. We've concluded the DOC incident, and have a recommendation in mind. But as we're needed more than ever as a unified high command, we'll wait to issue that until we know about both incidents, so it can be done at once. So for now, nothing, and then in the coming days,
How is
as
that
we
fair
talk to
to
Brian
me?
and Bundy. Well, nothing's happening to you right now, sir.
But I've given you the opportunity to decide on something right now, right?
Right.
Should we not have the full context going into that decision?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. But
We
That's what
called
we're
them
trying
both,
to
they just
do.
didn't pick up. It's just a simple availability thing where we can't get Brian's perspective. I mean, to be blunt, I hope you don't, others don't mind me saying this. We don't know how severe it was, and like, do you mind if I say what exactly I'm trying to get at? guys?
I mean, I've given
No,
you guys.
Dark. I'm asking Dark and
Oh,
Reed and Stubble and Tessa.
I mean, yeah, we can be transparent about decision making. Sure.
Transparently, the real question with the joke is, why did Bundy have a sniper rifle? That's my question, anyways. Was he told to go get that? Did he just have that? Did Brian tell him to go get it? Did you tell him to go get it? Was it just kind of like something that he had? Because I think he does. I think he does just have a sniper rifle, and Bundy didn't seem to think it was a joke at all. But the question is, did someone tell him to get that? Like, was that an active movement
Jim.
towards the assassination, or did he just bring it out to like help the joke or something? That's
I
what we're
thought
trying
Dark
to figure
spoke
out.
with Toretti and explained that side of things. No,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't think so.
no,
what did Toretti tell you?
Toretti, what Toretti told me was that you and Brian were discussing killing Divine.
Okay, what did he say exactly? What was the discussion?
We were having a discussion about just PD stuff in general, really.
Yeah, but what did Toretti say exactly, though?
That's pretty much it. I can't tell you verbatim, but
So he cannot provide exact details what he said, but he said it was discussed. I don't understand. How does that make any sense?
when we were discussing everything regarding the Sanguine situation, Toretti told me that when Divine got leaked, you and Brian were openly discussing murdering him.
Yeah, but how does that? Okay, what do we say exactly then?
Killing him. Okay, I mean, sure. Okay, I get what you're saying. If you want us to get an exact quote from Toretti, we can do so.
Yeah. Until y'all have made up your mind, I'm going to be taking a step back from High Command in general, because I am not going to be the commissioner of police department if you don't feel confidence in me, if you don't trust me.
Oi.
So
I'm
you're quitting too?
I'm not quitting. I'm not going to have something being held over my head for the next week or so till we meet. If you decide now, if you decide now, or I'm going to take a step back, because I don't think I can operate as a commissioner of police department.
I'm sorry. Are you you're
there's
threatening to step down unless we suspend you right now?
No, I've given you the opportunity.
But like,
So
you understand
just
how
say we're
insane
gonna do
that
this
is.
in two. Yeah, but just
You're
say to
threatening
me,
to step down unless we suspend you.
I'm not.
So you're going to suspend
I'm not-
yourself unless we do it?
I don't. But you're not hearing what I'm saying. I don't feel confident leading a police department is not believing me.
Well, I got bad news. It's not just the people in this room were probably your biggest believers out there.
It doesn't feel that way. I'll be honest. It feels like it feels like I'm alone in this, and all I'm trying to do is the right thing. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to bring peace times like this. But yeah, I've been grouped up. I'm not talking about everybody here, of course. I'm just talking about the general narrative I see on Twitter and news and everybody talking.
You can't
It
take
seemed
that
like-
shit seriously. It's
Can I clarify with you, Owen, when you say we're probably the biggest supporters? Did you mean, and this isn't because I'm like trying to argue it, do you mean as in compared to the rest of PD?
Yeah, I mean, I
Or-
think we're
yeah,
like some of
I-
the only people actually asking for his side of events versus a lot of the rank and file that are just assuming the worst about him.
I'm not saying shit.
I'm not gonna put my time, my blood, my sweat, my tears into something that where I'm just gonna get stabbed right in the back end. I would rather know now exactly how y'all feel.
Do you feel we're stabbing you in the back over?
I feel like
This-
I'm gonna have this over my head, and I don't. It's not gonna. It's just not gonna. I'm not gonna be able to operate fully, knowing there's a dark cloud on my head. I'm sure y'all can understand if I told you, hey, I'll talk to you in a week and a half whenever I got the results, right? I mean, I'm sure that can affect you, right?
Yeah, no one likes having what is a potential negative decision hanging over them, but I think you have to understand that we're not doing it to like intimidate you. We're trying to fuck with you. We're just doing it because we're genuinely trying to get the other two perspectives we don't have.
And on top of that, if we punish you now, in this time where we need to be a unified high command as a team, we're losing you. If it's a suspension for a day, if it's a couple of days,
Everyone's
that's
fighting
without you for a
Braxel.
couple of days.
What is this?
So
hold
you just
on.
going and saying, I'm just going to step back is kind of like ruining our entire reason of waiting. It's getting all the facts. So if we're doing a punishment, it's the correct one. And then it's also making sure
Hold
in
on.
these very, very trying times, we're together.
Why are we?
Like Owen said, we're supporting you as the commissioner. We are high command together,
But we're also holding you accountable. That's the main.
which
I
is
mean,
what you want.
it's not like we're stabbing you. Listen, if we thought you were some kind
I
of loose
do want you to
cannon,
hold accountable. It's not about that. It's the fact that I don't know when the accountability will come, if that makes any sense, right? So it's hard for me.
we're
to,
telling you it'll come like tomorrow. We're just waiting to get word from Bundy and Brian. Like as soon as I presume, as soon as any of us speak to them and get their side, we
and
come
that's
to an
fine.
agreement.
Till you come to an agreement, I'm gonna be, you know.
No,
withdrawing
we
back.
have an agreement. We literally have come to an agreement that we know how we feel about this. We just need to know the one piece of information, and then that decides things for us.
Then I'll be gone for one day if that's the case.
That's
I
okay
said-
if that's what you want to do.
I mean, for the sake of just the integrity of the investigation, the whole thing, I'd just rather be.
There's no
away
need
from
for
it.
that, sir.
But that's how I feel, and I'm a man of principle.
Okay.
I believe in that.
I
Not
can't
because-
explain enough that we're not. It's not that we don't believe in you. It's that we're holding you accountable, and I think
And I
we
want you to hold me accountable.
we wouldn't hold you accountable if we felt like you were some kind of loose cannon we couldn't work with. If we thought you were someone we couldn't work with, we wouldn't even bother trying to hold you accountable because you know what I'm saying? Like
And how about this? I'll make it easier for you. I'll suspend myself until the investigation is complete.
even if it was gonna be like a all right, you know what?
Honestly,
being a hole.
you
I'm just gonna
know,
I'm just. That's how I see things. Just like how we suspended officers in the past pending investigation. I think
Okay.
it's only fair to do so with me. Right? And I'm
Fair
taking that
play.
path to show accountability and responsibility
Interesting.
and the fact I'm willing to accept consequences. I just, for me, I would
Is
rather
this
be
a
away
Silas
from.
grammar? Can I just ask her, have you been talking to Silas?
No comment on
This
that.
is a bit he used to do all the time. Whenever he would get into trouble, he'd just suspend himself as the bigger man and walk away before we could even do anything.
I'm doing it to help you.
He
That's why
quit
I'm
before
doing
I
it.
could even. The panel finished. He literally quit before I even like knew what I was gonna do. This is a total Silas moment, man.
Well, I didn't know Silas that much. Only met him at the,
God,
the
you would have loved
barbecue.
him, I guess.
No, I met him at the barbecue. Remember, you introduced him to me. He told me about the fact that this guy was the LT of the
I
SDSO.
can't believe this happened.
Well, he was before the restructure. Yeah, I was the
Uh-huh.
captain though.
Yeah. But I do believe that is the right choice. I'm going to suspend myself until this investigation is complete. Whenever y'all are ready to give me the news, let me know and I'll be around.
Okay. Before you suspend yourself, I asked everyone else how they felt about the statement. Are you on board with that?
Yes, I
Okay.
think you've done a really good job with it. I don't see much of a grammar issue in it as well, too. And who wants to send that to Ursula, the LSBN News?
I mean, I
You
don't know
wanna
how
do that
everyone
one?
else feels, but considering Ursula was like borderline treasonous, I'm not sure I want to give her like premier access. There's not really
Well-
any other formalized news service.
That's the
But I
problem.
would
We have a
like
monopoly on
to-
news.
I would like to try to give this to every news agency at once, if there are any other ones. So maybe a better way to do this would be like, I don't know if we can put out an official statement or I don't like twatter, but some kind of way to like say, hey, if you're interested in doing news, we're going to release a statement. Anyone who's in the news can, use this as a quote or something.
I mean, yeah, I'm good with that. If you want to handle it, Owen, I fully trust you. Or somebody here wants to step up and handle it, by all means.
What the fuck is this?
Okay.